Hi everyone, this is Niki Rowland and I am here today for Hip Kit Club. I'm making a mood board inspired layout. I have all the kits to play with, so the April main kit, pocket life kit, embellishment kit and the colour kit too. And like I said, I'm making a mood board inspired layout. I was particularly inspired by the confetti cones and I'm using this beautiful floral wreath cut file that you can find in the download section on the April download section on the website. Okay, so just taking a look at the mood board, I decided to go for the confetti. So I made this really large kind of shaker pocket and I've cut the floral wreath that you can see there on my silhouette, and I've cut it from the pink cardstock. And I have cut that in large, and then I've also cut a circle to go in the back, and that is from one of the pink papers, and then I'm just tracing around that to make a vellum middle section. So I've used vellum from a past kit, and I'm just sticking that on the back, and then I'm going to go around it on my sewing machine. You saw that I put some tape in place to hold it in place. I went over the tape with the sewing machine, and then I just picked it off once I'd finished sewing, because of course it's vellum, so you can see it. I didn't want to use wet glue because I find that vellum tends to warp when I'm using wet glue, so I thought sewing would be the easiest option. So you can see there that I have my floral wreath and I have my backing circle, which is, oh sorry about the lighting there, something's gone wrong there. I have my backing piece, the circle that's cut from that lovely Maggie Holmes Sweet Story paper. And I've also cut the cut file 2 more times out of 2 shades of the cardstock that was in the cardstock kit this month. Okay, so I'm using a piece of white cardstock for my background. I've trimmed it down a bit, and I'm cutting 2 sides with a border punch. It's one of my favourite border punches. It's like a floral lacy ones with big scallops. So yeah, I really love it. It's one of my favourite ones. And all the debris from the middle of the punched pieces I've gathered together and I've put into my shaker pocket. So you can see I've just swept it all up and I have laid it onto my middle section of my floral wreath. So I'm using a star punch here. It's a star confetti border punch. I'm not using it as a border punch, I'm just using it to punch confetti. And I'm using the Maggie Holmes Sweet Story paper, the one you can see me punching there. It is pink diamond design on one side and black and white swans on the other side. So I'm all about the pink today, and that's yeah, what I'm using as my confetti and as my background of my shaker pocket, and then I also use it along the edges of my layout too. Okay, so this is me making the shaker pocket. So I'm just putting the backing over the top there, and I've secured it with tape as well and just turned it over carefully. And again, I have gone around the edges on my sewing machine, and then once I've finished with the sewing, I then picked off the tape. I did sew through the tape, but it was kind of perforated, so it was then easy to remove. Okay, so I'm now moving on back to my main layout as opposed to the big shaker element, and I've cut 2 strips from one of the coloured cardstocks that I used to cut the other cut file from, and I've just cut 2 edges, and I've chopped off a bit more of this white background as well, and I'm going to layer the edges with an extra piece of colour. I just felt that the edges needed a bit of extra colour to make them pop a bit more. So I've gone lacy, I've used the same border punch of course, and then I'm just going to stick those together. So I'm going to stick those 2 pieces onto the white first, and then stick the whole thing over onto the pink background. I took the middle out of my background, 1 because I'd cut a big circle out of it, and 2 because I generally do that so that I have I preserve as much paper as possible, because I really like to use every last piece of my kit. Also I find that sometimes the basil you can see the patterns through. Wouldn't have seen this one because it's too pale, and now it's just kind of a habit, so I always do it. Okay, so there's my background of my layout assembled. I'm just folding up the edges of the scallops a little bit to give them some additional dimension. Yeah, so getting there, and once I've folded all of those in place, I'm going to start arranging my actual layout. So you can see that I've got the 3 cup files there, the big shaker pocket and the 2 other ones. I cut those so that they had solid centres, so I didn't want them to be a wreath because I wanted them to act as layers underneath my photos, and I thought if I had a hole I might see layers through them. I didn't want to do that, so I just ungrouped the file, or actually I think I released the compound path, and I just took out that middle circle, and that meant that I had solid pieces underneath. Okay, so I'm really loving the colour scheme that's going on at the moment. So obviously all the pinks and the shades of kind of coral, and then I went through that Maggie Holmes Sweet Story ephemera and found that really gorgeous rainbow. So it had 2 shades of pink and a deep blue. Well, together that's a brilliant colour combination. I was really, really happy with it. There were lots of pinks and different colours on the mood board. It's kind of a rainbow theme. We've had a lot of rainbow stuff lately, so I just really just fell in love with this colour scheme. So the pinks and the corals, and that dark blue as well. So I'm really loving that, so I'm going to stick with that. I've just mounted my 2 photos onto journaling cards, so I've chosen a black and white one for the left photo and a strawberry pink one with, no, it's pink with strawberries on it over on the right photos. So today's theme is supposed to be Mother's Day. So we didn't really have Mother's Day this year because of lockdown. I didn't see my mum, she was away, and we didn't really do anything for Mother's Day to celebrate me, because, as I say, we were in lockdown, didn't do very much, literally stayed at home, can't go to restaurants or do anything fun, so we just stayed at home and loved each other. That's all I can say. I don't know if I even got presents or flowers or anything. I can't remember. I think I got some flowers, so yeah, we just had a nice day indoors. And if I remember right, because our Mother's Day is a different time of year than American Mother's Day, so our Mother's Day is in March, and I can't remember if the children behaved themselves or not. Hopefully they did. Maybe I got to do some scrapbooking. I can't remember. It was quite a while back now. Okay, so I'm really loving the simplicity that this layout is looking at the moment, with the 2 rainbows, and then I wanted to get in this title, so I can't help but smile. These photos are taken on Mother's Day, and they are quite cute and lovely and show me and my children, not all together, but me and 2 children on one photo and me and the other child on the other photo. So this was, I went with the Mother's Day theme because I thought it would be nice to record, even though we didn't actually do anything fun. But I can't help but smile, and then I've written next to it, "When I'm with you." So that's quite sweet, quite a sweet sentiment. Okay, so following on with the dark blue, those 2 butterflies in the Maggie Holmes Sweet Story butterfly set, there were 2 of them that were in pink and blue, perfect for my colour scheme, hooray! So I've used those. And then I'm just going through the sticker sheet, that's the chipboard sticker sheet as well as the cardstock stickers, and working out what else I can put onto this layout. So my style is normally fairly heavily embellished, but on this occasion it was already quite a busy layout with the 3 cup files and the 2 photos and the long title, so I was just a bit wary of introducing too much more. I didn't want to overdo it. Oh, I just blew some of the debris from where I distress the edges of stuff. I get a lot of dust on my work surface, so I just blew that off, and then realised that I didn't, my title wasn't stuck there, so I literally blew my title across the layout. Yeah, these things happen. Hey, I think I do it about 3 times, and when I picked it up to go to the sewing machine at one point, I forgot that my title still wasn't stuck down, so then it flew on the floor again. Honestly, you'd think I'd learn by now, wouldn't you? Okay, so just fiddling around with a few more embellishments. I've pulled out the word sweet from one of the Maggie Holmes ephemera pieces and put that above my photo. I've added my 2 butterflies, I've added a chipboard heart at the bottom. I've just found a blue bow, which is the perfect blue on the Maggie Holmes sticker sheet, so I've added that to my heart as well. That's my daughter putting her hands in my video, sorry about that. And then I'm just adding a few more bits. So I found a tiny blue flower and I put that in the corner of the photos. And I just found this frame. I thought, oh, I could use that, but actually decided against it, and decided to leave things where they were, just making sure everything's stuck down. I'm sticking on a few enamel hearts now, so I've got 1, 2, 3 enamel hearts. They go well with the big heart, chipboard heart at the bottom of the layout as well. They're, you know, I love my children, so although we've had a pretty bad day today, so okay, so just getting those hearts in place, and then I wanted to add a few splatters to my layout. So I'm using the colour kit, so I'm using one of the concentrated watercolours by Prima, the pink one, which is called Blush. These are literally wet watercolour inks or paints in a bottle with a dropper, so I've just dropped a few drops onto a craft sheet and added some water, and then I had a perfectly flickable paint, so I did add some flicks or splatters going right the way down the bottom of my layout. I am now, I've just realised that I had intended to use this sheet of flowers and then forgot to. So I've just realised I've had it next to me the whole layout, and then I was like, oh, whoops, I meant to do that. So I'm just adding in a few fussy cut pieces now. So I just saw this sheet and it was crying out to be fussy cut. So I've just fussy cut a few pieces there, a few clusters there, and I'm just tucking those in behind my photos. I'm also going to add in some thread as well, some gold thread, because I like to do that on my layouts. So it gives me, it is my style, you know. I really love to have my twiddles of thread, only ever in gold or silver, because I don't like normal thread. I only like my perfect metallic thread that behaves itself and doesn't get tangled. So I'm going to do that. I'm just adding in those flowers, fussy cut flowers, and sticking those in place. So I always only ever put the adhesive in the middle of my photos, or certainly quite a way in from the edge, for this exact reason, because I do like to put in, tuck in bits of ephemera or flowers or fussy cut elements and thread as well, of course. So I do like to not have everything too stuck down so that I can't lift it. So I'm just going to write in some journaling. So I've got nowhere really to write it without detracting from the layout. So I'm going to go around the edge of my floral wreath. Now, writing on vellum can be a bit tricky. It doesn't always work, depends on your pen, but this one's worked really quite well, and it dried perfectly well too. So I've just written, Mother's Day was on the quiet side this year due to the coronavirus, so we stayed at home. So yeah, it was nice to record the memory of Mother's Day, even though we didn't really do anything. So it's nice to look back on those days in the future, even when they're not that exciting. Okay, so that's me done. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have been inspired by the mood board and can join in with the challenge. We have a challenge over on the Facebook group, so make sure you head over and join in with that. Don't forget, if you're a Hip Kit Club subscriber, you get the main kit at a reduced price, you get 15% discount on all add-on kits, and you get exclusive subscriber cut files, so well worth subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. That was Nikki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.